So I recently received back a FOIA request from Nez Perce County about Nicholas Mowich. Now, some of you that follow the Idaho 4 case are familiar with his name because for whatever reason, somebody called in an unfounded tip stating that they did not believe his injuries were consistent with a car accident. And because that appeared in the Idaho State Police document drop, because ISP and Moscow police followed up on that tip and got an autopsy report and a DNA sample, many people have been falsely accusing Nicholas Mowich of the murders and saying he wasn't in a car accident, that he had stab wounds. None of that's true. He was in a car accident. He didn't have stab wounds. Now, obviously, I can't get the autopsy report because Washington does not allow those to go to anyone that's not next of kin. But I can tell you that Nez Perce County Sheriff's Department did not believe there was foul play. It was an accident. He had other health conditions that prompted him to be airlifted. We don't know what all those were. We do know one of them was low blood sugar. With that said, we're going to look at the report. I don't usually do FOIAs. I don't like to. I know they're public information, but I feel like it's an invasion of privacy. The only reason why I'm doing this is to stop the false accusations, specifically Jay Embry and Natasha Cooper, because those two are the biggest reason why people falsely accuse him, because they do it constantly. So let's get started. Okay, here's the first of two reports. This was from when he was found wandering. Then the other one's from finding the crash car. So this was on November 15th, 2022 at about 2:45 hours. So 2:45 in the morning. I was dispatched to a suspicious call on Rosencrantz Road. Dispatch advisor was a male heading towards Tammany Creek Road from Rosencrantz Road with his shirt off. The complainant, blank, advised she believed that the individual was drunk and he was stumbling all over the road. Deputy Woods and I arrived on scene. Blank's husband, blank, was out with the male, later identified as Nicholas Mowich. Blank had given Nicholas a blanket that he wrapped around him. He did not have a shirt on, and he had scratches all over him. I requested medics respond to our location to check on Nicholas. We moved Nicholas into the backseat of my patrol vehicle so he could stay warm until medics arrived. Nicholas could not hold a conversation. He appeared to be under the influence of something. Nicholas was able to verbally identify himself to me. He would start to doze off, then when I would wake him up, he would wake up startled. He could not tell me how he got to Rosencrantz Road. The medics arrived on scene, and Nicholas agreed to go with them to get checked out. Nicholas was transported to St. Joe's Regional Medical Center for further care. I met with Blank to give him his blanket back to him. The medics requested police to meet them at St. Joe's due to Nicholas waking up startled when they would wake him up. When I got to St. Joe's, Nicholas was in a room already. Deputy Woods told me he was told that Nicholas's blood sugar was in the 50s. All units cleared St. Joe's without incident. I drove the length of Rosencrantz Road and was unable to locate any vehicles that may have been involved. My body camera was on during this incident and should be available for review. And then he says he certifies under penalty of perjury. So he was found wandering and he had been in a car accident, but his blood sugar was in the 50s. He also had scratches, okay? No stab wounds, scratches. Now, blood sugar being in its 50s can be numerous things, and I am not a medical professional, so I'm not going to speculate. Okay, so on November 15th, 2022, around 7:55 hours, so 7:55 in the morning, so this is about 5 hours after Nicholas was found wandering, myself and Deputy Egbert responded to a report of property damage at blank Rosencrantz Road, Nez Perce County, Idaho. Upon arrival, I could see a blue GMC pickup bearing Idaho registration blank, nosed up to a fence and some hay bales. The property owner, blank, was standing nearby. No one was inside the vehicle, however, the keys were still in the ignition. Blank told us that the pickup had come onto his property and did quite a bit of damage. He walked us to where the damage was on the north side of his property. In multiple areas on his electric fence line, the electric lines were off the posts and strung across the field. Deputy Egbert and I walked the tire tracks back to where we believe it started. The tracks led us down to Buckaroo Lane, just north of where the vehicle was stopped. It appeared as if the vehicle drove down Buckaroo Lane, eventually entering the cultivated field beside it. The tracks went for a while in the cultivated field until it eventually crossed back over Buckaroo Lane, headed south towards the residence. When the vehicle crossed back over Buckaroo Lane, it impacted the ditch. It impacted hard enough to tear off a piece of the front bumper and throw out miscellaneous items, including several five-star windshield washer cardboard boxes. It should be noted that the same kind of box was in the bed of the pickup. Once on the south side of Buckaroo Lane, the vehicle continued south through another uncultivated field and eventually went through the lower fence of Blank's property. When the vehicle went through the electric fence, it pulled the lines off posts down either side of the fence line. Where the vehicle came to a rest, electric lines were strung leading up to it and wrapped around the front driver's side wheel. We contacted one of the registered owners, Blank, who told us her fiance, the driver, and other registered owner, Nicholas Mowich, did not have insurance on the vehicle. We asked if she had a preference on a tow company, and she told us no, but that she would like it towed to her residence, Blank, in Lewiston. Always Affordable arrived, took possession of the vehicle, and told us they would take it to the residence. We contacted Blank once more before we left. He told us that he estimated total damages to be at least $5,500. We told him that the driver failed to carry insurance and that he'd have to go through civil court in order to be reimbursed for damages. It should be noted that the other units were out with an individual in the area of Rosecrans Road around 2:45 that same morning. The individual was taken to St. Joseph Regional Medical Center. I later found out that the individual had a blood sugar level of 58. My body cam was activated for this incident and is available. I will also be completing an E-Impact State accident report. I declare, under penalty of perjury. So clearly, he was in a car accident. Clearly, he was not stabbed. He just had scratches. Blood sugar was very low. He was hypoglycemic. So obviously there was other things going on, but it was not foul play. He was not involved in the Idaho 4 murders. Now, one of the other things, which I've discussed before, but always gets brought up hand in hand with this whole false accusations of Mowich, is the tip by a known pathological liar that was called into Bill Thompson's office and then looked into by Idaho State Police and Moscow Police, that both Natasha and Jay Embry claim to be from Tyson Farley. And they claim, well, at least Natasha Cooper keeps claiming that the accident listed in the fake tip was Nicholas Mowich's accident. We're going to revisit that tip. And you'll see it's not Tyson Farley, and the accident is not Nicholas Mowich's. Okay, so here's that fake tip. This wasn't even called in until like 2024, by the way. And it was somebody that Agent O'Neill had said had been a CI in the past, pathological liar. But a lot of people felt it was Tyson Farley because this person had been arrested in Airway Heights around a similar date to when Tyson Farley had been arrested in Spokane. But we know it wasn't Tyson Farley because, first of all, he wasn't arrested in Airway Heights. He was arrested in Spokane, and the arrest date is not the same day. But the other reason we know it's not Tyson Farley is because it says that this person was transferred to Kootenai County for a warrant. Tyson Farley has never had any warrants out of Kootenai County. He's never been arrested in Kootenai County. He was extradited when he was arrested in Spokane, but back to Latah County. He was never extradited to Kootenai. So we know that's not him. And Brett Payne called the Kootenai County Jail and verified, because this person also claimed that his ankles had been broken, and they verified with the jail that no, he didn't have broken ankles either. And then this person had also claimed that they were leaving Lewiston and heading for Moscow when a car crash happened in front of him and that the driver was ejected. Okay, so he's stating that this happened around October 13th, 2022. Well, we also know that wasn't Nicholas Mowich because his accident wasn't until November 15th. But also, he was not between Lewiston and Moscow. Let me show you the approximate location of Nicholas Mowich's accident. So his car accident happened on Rosencrantz Road, which is southeast of Lewiston. Notice it's not north, okay? It's not north of Lewiston, headed up to Moscow. So this was obviously not the accident that the fake tip person was referring to. Okay, also of note, Nicholas Mowich did not drive a white Elantra. I've seen many of you claiming he drove a white Elantra. He did not. Also, Some of you have been leaving insensitive messages on the YouTube of his funeral service and on his mom's Facebook page. False accusations about him you've been leaving. Things about the Aryan Knights, which he did not belong to. Things about drug cartel, which he did not belong to. I don't know what prompts you people to think it's okay to leave messages like that for someone's mom and on their funeral page, but knock it off. Hopefully we can put this rumor to bed now. He was not involved in the Idaho 4 case. And if you see somebody still insisting that he was, please speak up. Please say something, because it's going to take all of us, the critical thinkers and those that are on the side of facts, to stop the false accusations and the other dumb fuckery that's been happening around people that have gotten dragged in to the sphere of this Idaho 4 case. So I'm going to say it again. I know a lot of you hate this, but I'm still going to say it. Do better.